Hello, thanks for joining me. Day 2 of the camera boat build. We've established that the stern of the boat will be used to carry cameras. These cameras range from my Sony Handycam, an Insta360 1X and a DJI Spark drone with a 1080p camera mounted on a gimbal. So quite a variety to enable me to vary the shots in future fishing and wildlife videos. The rear flat area of the boat would be used to mount the 1-inch diameter low speed high torque motor that would turn the vertically mounted drum, which in turn would support a camera fitting suitable for all of the cameras. So the positioning of the large drum created a suitable position for the hole to be drilled. I used a hole saw just roughly the same size as the motor, mounted a couple of brackets and a clamp on the gearbox of the motor. I avoided the actual motor because sometimes they're quite weak around the armature, so I gambled that the gearbox part of the combo would be stronger. So 2 half clamps, 2 right angle brackets, and I had a mounting. This enabled me to test the boat in the bath again. I say again because it was used extensively for my last project, the scale model tugboat, the Banbury Cross from the 60s. So this boat, today's project, was placed in the bath and I was able to see what the weight did to it in terms of the angle of attack and how to position the weights. The 7.2 stick of rechargeable batteries, quite heavy, too heavy for the stern, so it's gone in the square box opening towards the front of the boat. It isn't camouflaged or disguised in any way. but it'll do, and its own weight keeps it in the box. The leads reach to the motor, so that was all good. That just left the daunting task of trying the cameras on the table that the vertical wheel had created. All good. The Insta360 1X was always going to mount on a vertical stud, and it's the lightest of all of the camera equipment, so if my Sony Handycam and the drone would fit on without sinking the vessel, then the Insta360 1X would easily be okay. Lessons learnt from the tugboat about buoyancy and ballast. I was slightly wary about lowering the Handycam onto the red tabletop, but no problem. And similarly, the drone sat there quite easily. I'm going to create a surround mount for the drone, probably out of hot glue. I've done it in the past and it's not the most beautiful of finished products, but it does the trick and it doesn't harm the drone, but it keeps it grasped safely during any voyage of this camera boat. So, bath test successful. I removed the cameras, decided to give it a buzz up and down just to see, just to remind myself how good it was, and sure enough, no problem with the power. It's quite a speedy vessel. So it was time for the electronics to turn the red turntable that would support the cameras. The electronics are pretty simple. There's a handheld transmitter, radio control, 2.4 gigahertz. There's a multi-channel receiver and electronic speed control. These, along with the battery, will power the motor and change direction. Now, all that was left was to Haraldite a suitable 1/4 UNC camera adapter into the center of the red turntable, and the job was done. So more tasks successfully completed. The project's nearing completion. Thanks for joining me. Join me again soon.